Todd, as you know, we mentioned earlier, so I went to this Inman recap, far better 2 hour recap as opposed to 3 days in Vegas and sitting all day long and in these conferences and so forth. So some important stats, important numbers that I pulled out of it that, that I want to have a discussion of, what do they mean to us as real estate agents running our own business. So the first one, I found this staggering, and I actually wish Keith was here because he would just get really geeked out right now. So it's really interesting. So I took this new listing. It was listed with another company. They canceled it and everything like that. And so we took it over. But it was really bizarre because we haven't in the last 3 years needed to do videos and Matterports and things like that. But this was the one thing that the seller just was all about. I want video. My other agent, I asked to do video, and it took 30 days for them to do this video. And I'm not 100% sure that video is really going to, really help you sell the house. But that seller made it very clear.
Yeah, exactly.
So, of course, we did it. But nearly 80% of listings include some sort of drone and some sort of video. This is the staggering one. So the video cost me $250. I really don't think it's going to help me sell the house any faster. But that $250 is really what got me the listing. 73% of sellers are more likely to use an agent who uses video to promote. And sellers report, according to sellers, that only 10% of agents are using video efficiently. And when I say video, I'm not talking about the Tic-Tac machine or TikTok, whatever you want to call it, and reels and stuff like that. I'm talking about actual videos that are uploaded into the MLS.
Well, I think,
sorry, I just a quick question. When you say video, would that include like a Matterport walkthrough of the home, or they want a video of the house with different images and audio and that kind of stuff?
The music and that sort of thing, or the drone. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, some of that services obviously, are video, are excuse me, Lister Assister and some of those companies do provide, as Mike mentioned, for additional costs. But one of the things here is the usability of technology as far as it relates to GoPro or i360s or some of the Ryko products are getting to the point where the stitching is almost automatic. I mean, you can walk through these houses with a 360 camera for about $250. It costs to buy it, and you can walk through these houses and not stop. I mean, just basically walk through the whole house, and then you can go back afterwards and obviously, put in any comments or anything that you are interested in. You can stitch it. You can turn your eyes. It's 360 like a ball, and it stitches that fine 180-degree line perfectly. So I would look into it and start playing with it now because, when I first bought my first 360, my first GoPro, I was on Keith's phone every single day. I was like, Keith, how do I do this? 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 Now, all of a sudden, by mistake, because he trained me so well, I'm able to help other people do it. But the fact is that now that GoPro, the 360 GoPro is like a no-brainer for me. Use it every time I go out. So that's what we need. I think it won't happen until you take that first step that's going to be, difficult and painful, but do it, because as Mike's saying right here, this is the future, and the future's now.
Yeah. Well, I was just really quickly seeing agents on social media this weekend. They're doing open houses, but they're also doing Facebook Lives while they're walking through the open house to announce that they're doing it. And hey, if you can't come down today, let's just do a quick walkthrough. So getting that type of video element used in your business is huge. You don't have to be worried about it. You don't have to have it polished and ready to go. Just pull your phone out and walk through the house. In that instance, I would say it's okay to use your iPhone. We're not talking about taking listing pictures and doing professional photography.
Sure.
You're just walking through the listing and you're previewing it for potential clients.
Yeah. And so, our team, we do use Lister Assister. And so when I ordered the video, the guy who did the video, he called me and he goes, hey, I just need to be upfront with you. Videos, especially with conditions of the homes, they're very, very difficult. Lighting's very, very difficult. And I just want to set your expectations. I'm like, well, I'm stuck because this is what my seller wants. And I got the video back and I'm like, man, I want to buy this house. It was, I mean, they did an amazing job. But Todd, the last point to this, going back to the 73% of sellers are more likely to use an agent who uses video to promote. This now needs to be part of your listing presentation, because if 3/4 of the people want video, you got to commit to it. But this is going to be part of like my pitch when I'm going on a listing presentation.
Yep.
All right, number 2, sphere of influence. And I know you guys don't like to use the term past clients, but I haven't figured out the right term to
I hear you.
to separate between people I'm currently working with and the future and so forth. So I'm going to go with past clients. But I found this staggering, because we are getting, I think, in the next couple of years, and I don't want to get into all the details and the lawsuits with the National Association of Realtors and things like that, but we are getting to a point, Todd, in the next 3 to 4 years, you better have listings, because that is going to be pretty much one of the only ways to survive in this market. We can get into that another day,
of course,
and so forth. But 68% of sellers find their agent from a friend or a family member.
Hello.
We on our team preach, your ambassadors. We call them our Recon 12. Who are the top 12 people in your sphere that should and could be sending you referrals? This is where they are coming from. So double down on this. If you're spending, $500 a month on Facebook ads, I would spend $500 a month and taking family and friends out to lunch, dinner, whatever the case is, and having real estate conversations with them. And then 35% of all agent commissions come via clients or referrals.
Yeah. I mean, in this particular situation, you wouldn't farm a neighborhood that wouldn't allow you to achieve your proper average dollar commission from your business plan. So this is really the same thing. Mike, what they've identified is here's the sweet spot of the market right now. And they're taking this big data and they're sharing it with you. And it gives you the ability to come to the realization, wow, maybe Brian Buffini or Michael Mayer or all those people that talk about putting your money into your current existing people that and that's something too. I remember some of my earlier training, Mike, they didn't call them past clients. They call them who you know and who you don't know. And the people that you're trying to do business with are people you don't know. And the people that you're doing business with are people that you know. And so the reality is, why does it have to be a separation of the people you're currently working with? If you're doing them the service and they maybe can't afford to buy today, they maybe know somebody who does, and they're going to share your information because of your performance. So to all of those points, it's smarter to not continue to necessarily buy leads and put some of that money back into the relationships and maintaining those relationships.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, and to me, that's where I spend my marketing dollars is, golf. Well, when it's not 110 out, the golfing and hanging out with people and so forth. But I have a lot of conversations with a lot of agents who, for whatever reason, just don't feel comfortable reaching out to family and friends.
Yeah.
And the numbers don't lie, right? And you have to figure out how to get over it. And you have to put together a system. We have our Recon 12 system of this is how you identify your 12. These are the things that you need to do. But I'm telling you, I get so much business just from that system.
I mean, looking for reasons to talk to your past clients, talk to your potential clients, talk to your sphere of influence. We had a message come in. I think you hit it on the head, Mikey. I think we call them client ambassadors. They've worked with us. They've worked with our businesses. They work with our teams, and now they're ambassadors because they've worked through our process. And we can talk about that with the Facebook pages and all the other stuff that you had. But like the Carlos Cicero event, buy a table for $500 and invite 10 clients,
Mhm.
invite 10 individuals. It's who's going to say no to have a great dinner and be able to support a nonprofit that's trying to
Absolutely.
raise money for breast cancer awareness. I mean, those are types of things that you can do that, yeah, it's $500, but like you said, Mikey, you're not paying for ads to have some random person hopefully click on something on social media. You're talking to individuals that you know or at least have acquaintances with, and then you can build and cultivate the relationships.
I feel like I'm pretty good at sales, but leads, Zillow leads, Realtor.com leads, Facebook leads, as good as I am, they're hard.
Yeah.
Of course.
They're a lot of work. Hanging out with family and friends and having discussions about real estate and letting them know how I can help their friends and family members and so forth is a lot easier and a lot cheaper.
Yep.
All right, number 3, stats to consider. So these are just stats I found just interesting. So 65% of agents are female. So if you are a single male agent, hang out at agent networking events because you got a good chance. More than 20% of buyers, this is interesting to me, more than 20% of buyers are single women. Less than 10% of buyers are single men. More than 40% of all agents in the United States come from California, Arizona, Texas, and Florida. And this is the one that really stands out to me because we always are talking about the different generations, whether we're marketing to millennials and so forth. But people born between 1960 and 1980 are the largest consumers of real estate in the nation. So what do you take from all that, Todd?
Well, if you wanted to fish for salmon, Lake Pleasant might not be the right place. So what I look at this is I'm saying these are teaching you the pond in which you should fish or farm or whatever you want to call it. But again, these statistics, is your technology in line with this group of people? Are your posts in line with this group of people? And it's in the end, if you treat everybody the same and you have compartmentalized your services and Mike, your systems and everything that go along with it, your post and pre-closing communications, then you're more likely to get that person to a point where they're interested in sharing with you either what you did wrong or what you did right. And if it's what you did right, then they're more likely to be one of your top 12. They're more likely to be one of those people that by mistake is going to be telling other people about you. What are you as a realtor doing to attach yourself to this group of people? 65% of agents are female. That is up from about 57%. But not to get too stuck in the weeds, if single women represent 20% of the market and single men only 10%, then in reality, you're looking at the 1960 to 1980 largest consumers. What I'm seeing is the fact that there's an up and coming market that we're not paying attention to. And so I think you could sell more properties if you were paying more attention to those numbers.
Yeah. And so for me, first of all,
if
if I am a female agent, I might just start having some conversations and some consideration of maybe creating some sort of marketing plan going after single women. Even though I have extraordinarily good looks and charm, I'm not sure that single women are going to be of. I know it's a shocker, Nick. I know. But I also know, I have an exit strategy. So I know how long I want to still be selling real estate. And so when I take a look at that last stat, I don't do a lot of catering to millennials, or that I don't even know what the younger generation is called these days. What is that?
Gen X?
Gen something.
Y?
Even though I have clients in that, but I'm not planning on being in the game long enough to where that is going for that to start catching up and to be a predominant, group of buyers. So the 1960 to 1980 range, that is my sweet spot. for
They
me
also-
because of timing as well.
Yeah, and those people born in that range are maybe entering the fourth quarter of their careers, and so at that particular point, they're stable. They've got their income, they've got their savings, they've certainly got their equity in their current homes, and so from that perspective, these are the people that are more likely to be able to close. Also, from that perspective.
All right, so Nick's a millennial. I didn't offend you, did I?
Not today. No, I just think Todd hit it on the head. I mean, looking at those numbers, they're great for what happened last year, but you should be using it as a roadmap to what you're going to be doing with your business. Mikey, you looking to get out of the business in the next, I don't know, you're what, 75? So the next 5 years, it does make sense for you. But anybody who's staying in business or new to real estate, use these numbers and start looking at what your demographics are. Do you track your demographic? Do you know what kind of buyers and sellers you are currently working with? Is there a consistency there? Those are things that I would be looking at if I'm running my business, is what can you track?
Yeah.
Who are you resonating with?
Yeah, and if you're focused on millennials, I'm not saying like abandon
Right,
it.
correct.
If that's who you're targeting, great, because there's a lot of buyers in there. I guess my point is there's this idea of the older crowd, they're dwindling,
Sure.
Right.
right, and they're not.
Yeah, exactly.
And pay attention to them.
Yeah.